You're holding a gate for no one. You're just an idiot standing on a wall. Rogel Dorn, Primarch of the Imperial Fists. The yellow stalwart chapter of Space Marines that I always picture with awesome mustaches. The Imperial Fists are super cool. I've loved them ever since this original picture from my 4th Ed Codex, the codex that started my love of Warhammer. The yellow armor is just so vibrant, and the idea of them holding in the line against the Tyranid invasion was just so stinking cool as a kid. Yellow traditionally is an extremely hard color to paint, so today I thought I'd try out a few examples and come back with my findings. We're going to paint some Imperial Fists, but we're going to paint them real tiny. A few months ago, I painted these guys. Actually, it's about a year ago now. Jesus, time flies. I painted tiny little 15 mil Space Marines, and with Legions Imperialis, I kind of figured maybe you could use these techniques and shrink them down by a third and make your own yellow Space Marines. This set I'll link in my description. It comes with a bunch of awesome poses, and I've been building like little kill teams of these guys. So I decided to take the really stalwart, hard posed models, the model with the big fist, the tech marine, the guys kneeling, that sort of thing, and decided to make another 15 mil kill team of Imperial Fists. Traditionally, yellow is an extremely difficult color to paint, so I knew I'd have to do a little bit of testing and prep work to make sure I didn't mess these models up. I grabbed some of my Rust-Oleum 2X flat white, and I got the priming to test out a few different yellows. First up, cadmium yellow, aquafine, Citadel contrast bad moon yellow. It's not Imperial Fist, but that's okay. Green Stuff World cyber yellow, which is kind of a greenish yellow. And an old Citadel Everland Sunset. I don't even think they make this one anymore. These are going to be our test subjects today. So I was going to get to work to do the hard science, but my paint nozzle closed. I didn't know that white did that super easily, so I had to run to the store and grab another can. If you have any recommendations on flat white primer that might not dry up so easily, please let me know. After all that, and like a half hour wasted, I finally primed these bad boys and got to work trying out my yellows. Or did I? Again, Citadel pots, man. I've gotten flack in the comments about Citadel pots and how much I dislike them. I just ruined them, so I'm trying to avoid them. I went for demonic yellow instead, which is another army painter color. Not the best, but I thought I got a nice cross section. I even tried out some different washes and just grabbed some tones and coverage options.
For the Emperor!
I even grabbed this really old dude and just slapped a few things on there to see how like things really looked in the shadows and recesses. I don't have enough old Space Marines that I can use and abuse like this, but it was nice to do it for once. I decided the best option was going to be ink. Ink makes the best, strongest yellow, and then we're going to use flesh wash and sepia wash and certain combinations to get the right tone. I want a bright, warm, robust yellow with really nice, warm shadows. With all of my models primed, I figured I'd just slap some yellow all over these guys. The biggest thing I learned with ink is that you can't just go over it right away. I don't know what it is. Is it water-based? I'm not a scientist. I never pretend to be. I just know that I've reactivated ink a lot using washes later, and that can be a huge pain in the ass. So while these guys were on their little frisbee, I just slapped over a bunch of yellow ink on top. I don't know how I can narrate painting yellow ink any better. But they're yellow now, so I decided to leave them for a few days while I went out of town. All right, they should be dry, right? We should be no reactivating. That's not foreshadowing, I promise. Looking pretty nice, though. I mean, the ink already adds like a little bit of shading in the crevices.
For the Emperor!
Now, all good miniature painting starts with base coats, and these bad boys are no exception. They may be tiny, which is kind of why I like working in this scale. They're small enough to get like nice detail, to do some fun base coats, to really do some shading and things, but they paint very, very quickly. I wanted to add some highlights by mixing some of our ink with an ivory to kind of add a little bit of
Charge!
opacity. Just give that bad boy a nice once over from the top, giving us a little more, you know, light focused highlights from above, like a zenithal, but not, I don't know, just catching the raised edges, that sort of thing. Do a couple really light passes of this. It's really hard to notice, but it brings out the edges, makes that yellow a little bit different. And compared to a marine without it, you know, I thought it was worth adding. And then what's an Imperial Fist without red? I really like Carnage Red from Reaper Bones, but the bottle does dry up a little bit. Pro tip, keep some pin cushions next to your workstation. Learn that from Eons of Battle. Thanks, Jay. And make sure you pop those bubbles too. So then I kind of set about figuring out where I wanted red on these models, because I wanted a little bit more than just like the shoulder pads. And actually, Imperial Fist shoulder pads I think are black. I don't know. I used a couple different reference pictures and I feel like they're a little all over the place. But for the Sergeant, definitely needed red all over those sweet banners. Definitely got to have red guns, because bolters aren't real bolters unless they're red. And then I made a horrible McDonald's ketchup monstrosity. Oh, God. Hopefully adding some more colors will make them look less like a basket of fries. So I grabbed some dark blue gray. It's like a dark, almost like an off black, like an off black and a blue shade to add some major contrast. And I'm going to use that on the weird little doohickey bobbers, on their jump packs, and just on a few spots to like break up things, add a little bit of detail. And again, it's kind of on the opposite spectrum of color. It's like a very, very cool gray to go against the bright, warm reds. On the Marines, all the other Marines, I actually did this on their shoulder pads, because in my mind, Imperial Fists had red trim on their shoulder pads, but it's black. So, I don't know. If I'm wrong, I don't think I'm wrong. I did a little bit of research for this one, surprisingly. Now, my favorite thing about 15 mil models is adding transfers. Adding transfers adds so much to set the scale and really add some detail without having to like paint really small. The worst part about tiny models and transfers is that they never stick to the shoulder pad. Anyone know how to... Is microsol and microset worth it? I don't know. I'm going to be asking for a lot of advice. I really almost ruined these models. That's 2 videos in a row of me almost ruining paint jobs that I did. Oh my God, they were frustrating. And I also didn't have little fists. I don't know how I didn't have little fists, but I grabbed these little decals from the one of the Black Templars kits that I have. But I don't know. Once you get them on and, you know, shake and scream a little bit, they add a little bit of extra contrast and detail to tiny little models. And I ripped them all halfway. Nothing we can't fix later. Anyway, I realized that I wanted to varnish them with a gloss varnish to make sure that, you know, ink doesn't go everywhere, and that our shades later would run better into the recesses. And as I did that, the action of me, like, it must be me overworking that ink or something, I reactivated the ink and mixed with the gloss varnish, and twice in a row, got really, really, really annoyed. You can see it right there. Oh my God.
So even after 3 days, the ink is still wet, and I'm annoyed.
After a quick spray varnish and like 30 minutes to dry, or however long they recommend, they were finally okay, and then I could throw a good wash on them. These little models, man, I don't know what it is, but I've just been really bad at miniature painting lately. Maybe I've hit that plateau of like, I just know what it's supposed to look like, and I'm getting annoyed with the ugly stages. I want to push through faster than I should. I'm just not being patient. Something, or I'm doing things wrong. I don't know. Part of life is figuring out some things doing wrong and doing it right. That was poor English, but that's okay. I slap a bunch of Seraphim Sepia over these guys and moved on with my life. Seraphim Sepia over yellow, though, I think is a phenomenal color for warm Imperial Fists. Look at that. Oh, those are looking good. Thank God. Washes are when you break past the ugly stage.
I'm here in the wilderness, asking you to like, comment, and subscribe. That's about it. I got a lot of fun videos coming. I hope you can hear this. Goodbye. Pretty sure it's gonna rain soon. So if you could subscribe before that happens, that'd be great. Okay, bye.
Faith is our shield.
Man, washes really, they really tie models together. I know it sounds silly, but like, washes get you to that point where you're excited to like keep working on the model, because it's not so much as like labor as it is fun. I get to do my favorite part, which is highlighting. I'm gonna take reds and yellows and grays and mix them all with some ivory and some lighter colors and just build up a bunch of highlights. I don't think I'm gonna really beleaguer this process, but it's very satisfying, and it adds so much pop to all of the edges. If you know me, I'm a big edge highlighter. I love edge highlighting. I could do edge highlighting all day. If someone could just base coat my models for me, man, that would be great. So this is just, you know, edge highlighting. You've all seen edge highlighting before. All I'm doing is going over the most prominent raised areas with some slightly lighter colors, slowly mixing in ivory till we get to a nice sharp point of just ivory. I'm going to do this with every single color, and I'm not going to bore you by talking about it. I'm not going to annoy you by talking about it. I'm just going to play a sick beat for you. Enjoy. All right, now we have to throw these bad boys on some bases. If you've watched my other 15 mil videos, you've seen this pile of pennies dwindle down. I should have enough to do one more chapter. I don't know if I'm going to film it or not, but I grabbed these little yellow marines off of their temporary holders and glued them down to some pennies. Pennies give little models like this some nice weight so they move around easier. For those of you still watching, that song in the last thing is a song that I wrote because I don't know how to play guitar, so it's all digital. Let me know if you liked it, and I have like a bunch of them. Let me know, I don't know, I'll release an album or something. What am I writing down? Insert baking soda clip. Gotcha. Bonk. All right, so first we do some baking soda and some paint, just any acrylic paint, some glue, and a little bit of water. And this is how I make my basing material. Sometimes I'll mix a little bit of fine grit sand into there too, depending how I feel. You got to get the ratio right, especially on a weird base like this, because I got to kind of worry about the bulk like difference and height difference between the base and the model itself. And I usually use like a nice little palette knife to do this, but I'm just being lazy and I'm using a toothpick because it's also a little easier on these tiny models. And that stuff usually takes a couple hours to dry. I'll just leave it overnight. This is Chris editing in his living room. I think I forgot to record all of my weathering. I'll go look for all that footage now. If not, this is me asking you to like, comment, and subscribe and do all that YouTube goodness. I make a lot of videos, a lot of 15mm miniature painting. I don't know, we have a good time over here. Comment, like, buttons, all that stupid shit. Stupid, darn, stinking stuff. I don't want to get demonetized. Darn it. What was I saying? Anyway, I'm going to see if I have that footage. If I don't have that footage, I don't know. We'll figure it out, right? Isn't that right, cats? Yeah, that's right, cats. If I don't have that footage, I'm going to put in a couple pictures of my cats. And if I do have that footage, here you go. Not to ruin the immersion, but I'm not sure if you just watched a video of my cats or a video of me weathering some Space Marines. Either way, after all was said and done, I was left with this. Alright, if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. That was how I stumbled my way through some 15mm Imperial Fists. Any recommendations, things I should have done better? I already know about them, but you can let me know again. Things I didn't do very well. Oh, no. Things I did do very well. Let me know, please. I would appreciate it. Things you like about the video. I know I kind of, honestly, I stumbled through it. I'm trying out some new stuff. I got a new audio setup. I got some new video things I'm working on. I have a lot of life stuff changes. I don't know. None of that really matters to you. But, again, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun, ridiculous YouTube stuff that you're supposed to do, and I'm supposed to ask you about it like 7 times during the video. If you like the fact that I didn't, and you just kind of like funny noises and a dude painting little space marines in his, tiny apartment, well, subscribe and keep watching, because that's pretty much the vibes we got here. I'm Chris. I like to paint things. I don't think I've been saying that a lot lately, so maybe I'll come up with another thing that I am and who I am and what I do. But I'm Chris. I like to paint things. Have a great night, guys. Take it easy.